Welcome back, everybody. This is Math 1314, more on math. This is the homework section, Chapter 5, Section 2, Exponential Functions. Use transformation of the graph negative 5x minus 3. Alright, so let's look at this. So, using transformation, the original function is 5x. Remember the two conditions. A has to be greater than 0, has to be positive, and A cannot equal 1. If A is less than 1, or if A is greater than 1. If it's less than between 0 and 1, it's a decreasing function. If it's greater than 1, it's an increasing function. So no, this is an increasing function to begin with. The first thing we do, there's a negative in front. So we know the first function looks like this. But there's a negative out in front. So it means what takes this is positive, so when I put a negative, it's now negative. That's the first transformation. Now the second transformation is it goes down 3. So this origin that used to be here now shifts down 3 spaces. So that's negative 3 there. The intercept is 1 below it. So it looks like that. So the only one that looks like this, below the x-axis, is B. So it's got to be B. Now this is a little bit different, because if you notice, it's the exponents that change signs. So we have the original function is 5x. It looks like this. The next change, x changes. So in this picture, whenever you change the direction of x, you flip across the y-axis. So now this graph looks like this. Because you change the sign of x. When you change the sign of y, it flips across the x-axis. Change the sign of x across the y-axis. Now you go down 3 spaces. So remember, there's your y-intercept, there's your origin. So you go down 3, there's your new, that's new x-axis. It still crosses to one spot above it, and it goes down. So that's too high up, wrong direction. So it's got to be C. Okay, great. Since, remember, if it's between 0 and 1, it's a decreasing function. Okay, that one uses x now. It's a logarithmic function, so it's got to be D. But it's the only one that's a decreasing function crossing at 1. That's an increasing function, so that's this one here. A is greater than 1. This is decreasing, so A is between 0 and 1. This is a decreasing function, but it's shifted to the right and down. So, this two transformations. This is a square root function. Oh, so we know it's D. So this next one, number 4. Graph the function by substituting and plotting points. then check the work against the graphing calculator. Well, I don't need to because I know that function looks like that. The only thing I did was change. Remember, now I changed all the answers that are positive and they're all negative. So the only one that could be, that's not it. This is when a is between 0 and 1. This one's negative, but it's a decreasing function. It flips over, so this one is the flip of that one. So it's negative of a being between 0 and 1. This one, a is greater than 1. This one, a is greater than 1, but it's negative because it goes down. So it has to be D. Number 5. Sketch the graph of 4 to the x minus 7. Describe how the graph can be obtained from the graph of the basic exponential functions. The graph of x of course, basic function. So the first thing is the basic function of what? 4x. And all it does is it's a vertical shift down 7 spaces. So it's of 4x and it shifts down 7 units. So again, now first up we know the graph is 4x, so it looks like this, and all it does is goes down 7 spaces. So this origin goes down to -7. The y-intercept is 1 above the y-intercept, so it's 1 above this one at -6. Now you just plot some points. You create a table. X is -2, -1. We notice it at 0, it's at -6. So, because this one, when x is 1, well, let me get some scratch paper here, I'll show it to you. When x is 1. Oh, when x is 0. 4 to the 0 power -7. Well, anything to the 0 power is 1. -7 is -6. So this point is at 0, -6. That's the y-intercept. At 1, 4 to the first power -7. 4 to the first power is 4, -7 equals -3. So at 1, it's -3. Now at 2, 4 squared -7. 4 squared is 16, -7 is 9. So at the point 2, it's 9. So those are the positive side, the right-hand side. Let's look at -1. What would happen here? 4 to the power -1 -7. 4 to the -1 makes it a fraction, -7/1. You have to get common denominator, which is 4. So multiply top and bottom by 4. We get 1/4 minus 28/4 -27/4. So at -1, negative 27 over 4. That's just under 8, because if it was 28 divided by 4, then it'd be 7. No, it was just under 7. So, and then same thing with negative 2. 4 to the power negative 2 minus 7. This is 1 over 4 squared. 1 over 16 minus 7 over 1. Common denominator. Multiply this side by 16 over 16. So it's 1 over 16 it's 42. 112 over 16. So it's negative 111 over 16. Then you just plot those points. Yeah, unfortunately, no, that's 8. So it's the y-intercept is at negative 6. At 1, it's negative 3. At 2, it's 9. 7 is your asymptote. So the graph will look something like this, and it goes down a lot faster. And the next one. Graph the following function and describe how the graph can be obtained from the basic functions. Alright, so let's look at this thing. The basic function is 3 to the power x, because it's 3x. The first thing that happens is it's negative. So let's see here. So that graph looks like this. Now the first transformation is it turns negative. When it turns negative, it flips across the y-axis. Now, what happens here? Which direction does it shift? It shifts to the right 1 space. So now, there's my new, it still crosses at 1, decreasing function. Why does it shift to the right 1 space? Take your exponent, set it equal to 0. I add x to both sides, so x equals 1. So there's my new shift. It's a horizontal shift. So we know it goes to the right 1 and up 3. So it was shifted to the right 1 and up 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's the new origin. There's a new origin. Shift to the right, up 3. The y-intercept is still 1 above the x-axis, so that's there. It's a decreasing function. So it shifts 1 to the right, because that's a horizontal shift. Now it goes up 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's your new origin. That's your new origin. It shifted from here to there. The graph is 1 above the y-intercept is 1 above the x-intercept, the vertex, and it's decreasing. Again, you'd create this table the same way we did last time. When x is 0, 1 minus 0 plus 1 minus 0 plus 3. 1 minus 0 is 1. 3 to the first power plus 3 is 6. So 1, 2, 3, that's 2, 4, 6. There's your y-intercept. At 1, 1 minus 1 plus 3, 1 minus 1 is 1, plus 3 is 4. So at 1, I go to 4. There's that one. At 2, 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So this is 1 over 3 plus 3 over 1. Common denominator, multiply top and bottom by 3. So you get 1/3 plus 9 over 3 is 10 over 3, which is 3 1/3. That's at 2. 2, 3 1/3, which is about there. So again, plot some points. Use your calculator. Question number 7. Same type of question. Oh, let me see. Did we answer? No, we didn't answer the question. Number 6. Let's see. So the shift, the graph is left 1 unit. No, we know it shifts to the right, so that's not right. Shifts up. That's not right. It doesn't shift down. Shifts up, shifts up. Does it reflect across the x-axis or the y-axis? Since x is negative, it's across the y-axis. The shift of the graph, it left 1 unit. It doesn't go left, it goes right. So there's an error. It shifts to the right, then up 3. So I gotta tell them about that. Because it doesn't shift left, it shifts to the right. But that's how the graph looks like. Okay, let's look at this one. Y equals 2 minus 2 negative x. So the first thing we know, the graph is 2 to the x, which is a positive. Let's see what happens. The first thing we notice is x becomes negative. That means we flip across the y-axis. Our first is flip across the y-axis because x turns negative. In other words, anything that was on the positive, the lower side here, now becomes the higher side. Next step. Now there's a negative in front of the 2x. Okay, since we know this means it flips across the y-axis. So it looks like this now. Because of this negative flips across the y-axis. Then, since that's a positive 2, it goes up 2. It's a vertical shift. In other words, we can rewrite this equation as y equals negative 2 negative x plus 2. It's a positive 2, so it shifts up two spaces. And the y-intercept used to be 1 above, now it's 1 below. So there's the one below, so there's the y-intercept. The graph looks something like that. So let's see. Reflect the graph of the graph of 2x. That's the basic shape. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. There's the x. 2 to the power x. It's just 2. Across the y-axis, then across the x-axis, and shift up 2. Shift the function 2. We'll shift it across the y-axis, and then the x-axis. That one's not right, because there's no y shift. This one has no x shift, so it's a. We have to shift both. We flipped it across the y-axis first, and then across the x-axis. And using the table, you can get the actual points. Use the compound interest formula. P1 plus R over N, NT. All right. And so according to this, our principal is 58,102. 1 plus our rate is 2.5%. 2.5 is 2.5%. Now since it's percent, we move it 2 to the left, so it's 0.25. 0.25 over n. Quarterly. Since that's quarterly, it's 4. So we have 4 times 8.5. $58,102. 1 plus 0.025 over 4. 4 times 8.5. Okay, let's put this in our calculators. Okay, here's my calculator. Put it in scientific mode. So I type in 58,102 times, where's my parentheses? Oh, cracky, I don't have any. So I'm first going to do the inside here. I'm going to work my way out. I'm using my cell phone, I don't have a calculator. So, what is 0.025 divided by 4? 0.00625 plus 1. So it's 1.00625. 4 times 8.5. 4 times 8 is 32. And 0.5 is 2, so it's 34. So now I take 1.00625, raise it to the power 34. I get 1.2359485. Now I times it times 58,102. 71,811.079 747. So, since in money we can only round it out to 2 decimal places, we look at this one. Forget the rest. Since if it's between 0 and 4, drop all these numbers. If it's between 5 and 9, I add 1 to the number before it. So, since that's between 5 and 9, I add 1 to that one. So my final answer is 71,811.08. That's my final answer. That's the account balance. Right. Hope that helped. So again, if you don't have a calculator, you can do it piece by piece. Use your cell phone. First, do all these small numbers first here. So we have that 0.025 divided by 4. We get that. We could do 4 times 8.5. 4 times 8 is 32, and 4 times a half is 2. So add those together, you get 34. Add 1, raise it to the power. To raise this one to the power, look for the button that looks like this. Because when you have the 1.006, that's already the x. When you hit this button here, all you have to do is enter the 34. And then hit enter. It'll give you that. Then press times. There you go. All right, good luck, everybody.